Welcome, joyful matriarchs, to embracing Yahuah's love with 5 or more children. Each week, there's a new mom as well as a new topic. This week, we're talking to Sister Sharah. Yo, say it for me, please. Sorry.
Yahuah.
Yaakana. Sharah Yaakana. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure. Okay, so I am a mother of 11, and two of them are grown and on their own. So there's only 9 in the house right now. I came into the truth in January of 1994. When I was just a babe, it was like in my freshman year in college, and I've been in the truth ever since. Never fell off. Been married for just equally as long, and so so it's been about 30-ish years. Um, let's see. Um, Currently, I'm homeschooling the children, and we are living internationally in Mexico. And we've lived in a couple different locations, but right now, yeah, that's where we are doing our thing. So, and I have a podcast called A Woman's Halakha, in which I um, am dedicated to trying to teach the other sisters, especially the young sisters that don't have a female role model, to how to implement the Torah, the law, into their daily lives. Because it is achievable, but a lot of people are not teaching it, and I did not have a female elder to help guide me. So I'm, trying to be at the disposal of the other sisters. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. You don't meet too many people who's been in the truth for 30 years. So that your wisdom is
Yeah.
definitely necessary, especially in this day and age. You know, all the different doctrines and teachings and all that stuff that's coming and into it, and it's definitely necessary because so many people are being tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. Is good to have solid elders in the truth, which you don't get a lot of. So that's good.
Yeah, it's kind of sad confusion too, because there are so many people that really they don't even have like a male elder. They're just out there on their own, and they're trying to figure things out, and there's just too much diversity, I'll call it that, too much diversity in doctrine, and a lot of folly and nonsense, and a lot of women who are honestly getting taken advantage of because they don't have anybody to help them.
All right. I want to move location. Okay. But I'm scared. Give me a second. Yeah, that's better. I like it out here. Okay, so my first question for you today would be, how has your faith in Yahuwah influenced the way that you raise your children, your large family?
Okay, so mind you, I've been in the truth for 30 years. My oldest is like 27. So all of them have been born into the truth. And so we try to live by the scriptures, and we're teaching them exactly what everything that we know, we're teaching them from day one, and at least modeling it, and then as they get older and verbally expressing it, and so that they can understand the reasoning behind everything. They everything that we do in our life is to try to be closer to, we call him Yahuah. And so, we are constantly trying to, educate them, like I said, either through modeling or through actual words as they get older. Like, this is why we do these. This is, Yahuah does not like this, Yahuah likes this. Um, and having as many teaching moments as possible. So it says that you are not connected.
I lost service. I'm sorry. I guess this is the
No, it's okay. It just said that the recording was going to be uploaded soon. So I'm like,
okay. I'm sorry about that. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So yeah, we very much make Yahweh the foundation of everything that we do. Like all of our movements. The reason that we're here in Mexico is because we were spiritually led here through signs and dreams. So like everything we teach the children, everything we do, our day to day lives, it all centers around
That's
them.
awesome. We pretty much, how we live. We pretty much are trying to be led by the Holy Spirit as well. So wherever He leads us is where we go, where we follow. Pretty much why I have crappy internet service right now, because I'm wherever He leads us is where we're gonna go. We're gonna follow, and we never, sometimes you don't know where it's gonna be, but to follow, look, what Yahushua said, the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. You still gonna follow me? Yep, wherever it is, because we wanna live a life out loud to our children. We want them to see the Father at work, see how His hand moves. Like it's interactive. It's an interactive relationship. Okay. So my next question for you would be,
It is,
go
it
ahead.
is, and now, as I say, you got to put in to get back. So and you see it if you put it in, if you put the time in.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I got somebody at my door, just like. So hold on one second. I'm sorry. In your wallet? I don't have it. When I got it's in here. It's in there. You want to bring your wallet? I'm sorry about that. The big family thing it happens. It's hard to
It
have
does
a couple
happen,
minutes.
and I understand. Like at any moment, any child could pop up right now and say, "Mommy, can I?" Or "Mommy, look at this," or "Mommy, can." Yeah, so I
Don't forget
understand.
the
That's the whole point of um loving Yahuah, right? Embracing Yahuah's love with five or more children. That's the name of the show, and that's why, because you don't see you don't see a lot of stuff that like caters to big families, right? We understand the struggle of having a big family. So, disclosure, we may be in the middle of an interview and a child pop in and ask you to wipe their butt or something.
That's
That's
real.
real life.
That's how it is.
So, that's the whole point here. All right, so my next question for you would be, can you share some of the unique challenges that you faced in raising a large family within your community?
Well, I mean, the obvious is financial, like because we're not working like these executive jobs where you have all this money coming in and you can afford to do the things that you want to do, and sometimes the things that you need to do. So being frugal and financially savvy, and um, I'm gonna tell you, before we even left America, we stopped living like Americans. We were just living a very different lifestyle than everybody else. And but it freed up the little bit of money that we did have for missionary work or for the ability to relocate. So I would say that's a huge challenge. It just financially being able to make things work and being creative to do those things. But other challenges are just, it's us against the world, literally. And to protect our children from the saturation, the media, the sexuality, the straight up wickedness, the witchcraft, it's a constant struggle to always be filtering and to always be protecting and to hope that it doesn't get seep in too much and where it's going to pull them away from Yahuah. So I think that's a huge struggle, because it's easy to say you're going to be living a set apart lifestyle, but when you're not in a community, it's very difficult to do.
Well, I know
And that's hopefully what we would like to do, is have that.
that. I know the community is really not there, and it's hard to do this without community. But then it's hard to do it with community too, because the community ain't community. The community is worldly, like everywhere, even in the Hebraic community. A lot of it's hard to find community because you have to be, you're literally set apart from the set apart. So it's really hard. Like when so
It's
I
very,
understand that. It's really hard trying to keep them pure in a world full of saturation. So that is a big struggle.
yeah,
I understand.
yeah, it's a daily struggle. Like that it weighs heavy on my spirit, because I've gone through it with two of them already, and I lost some battles, and I'm like trying to
Right.
learn from those mistakes.
And that's why they're there for us to learn from. Right. Mistakes. We learn from it, we
Right.
live and we learn and we do better as we move forward. Okay, so what are some of the specific rewards or blessings that you've
Like,
experienced in raising a large family while following the teachings of Yahuwah? I
I'm
sure
sorry, can you
can.
repeat the question? I did get interrupted.
What are some of the specific rewards or blessings that you've experienced in raising a large family while following Yahuwah?
So, you know what? I just feel like it's such a blessing to see them grow and mature and understand, like to understand and to correct, even to correct people, to correct us, to correct others, like because they know the law in their little spirits. They might not be able to take you to the scriptures, but they know what Yahweh likes and doesn't like. And so just to see them grow in that, and hoping that we're teaching them the right way and the right path, so that it's going to carry over to their children. But that's been a huge blessing. But I think just as far as like having so many children, it's just a lot of love. Like it's a lot of love. Like it's always like a
Yes.
line for hugs. When I'm finally clean, like they are like fighting to who's the first person to get the hug. Always just, and there's always somebody. I grew up an only child, footnote, and so there's always somebody. And I love to see that my children have people. They have somebody that they'll always have for the rest of their lives. And I don't have that. I mean, I have my parents, but I don't have any of that other stuff. So
That's
I
awesome.
love
There
seeing
is
that.
always a line for hugs. Like there's always a line
Yeah.
for hugs, for kisses. Mommy, can I have a hug? Can I have a kiss? Like, didn't I just hug you? No, that was them. There's always a line for hugs. That is a fact. I thought it was just our household, but it is good to know that we are not alone. Those hugs, they are you know what though?
Yeah.
If they weren't here, I would miss it. I know I would miss it. Once they get older, they're
Right.
not gonna be trying to hug me all the time, and I'm gonna miss it. So sometimes, oh
That's why the
yeah,
grands come
we
in.
gonna have a house full of grandchildren, aren't we? Our family, our grandchildren, we're gonna have about
Hmm.
300,000 grandchildren.
Yeah, I think so. Like I don't have any yet. Like not mine biologically, and I'm like, okay, I understand what I understand like that cliche. And now, like when the mother's like, when are you gonna have children? When are you gonna have children? I understand that now because I'm like, I don't have babies now. I have my smallest is 4, and I see other people like there's it's baby wearing culture down here. So these all these women that have their little babies, and they're just these little heads stuck out, from here to here because they're
Aw.
tied onto them. And I'm like, oh, but I'll take the grand, so I don't have to have the late night feedings and all that
tell
stuff.
those two to come on, get busy. This is why I had you now. Move on, get it together, have some babies now.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so
yeah.
have you encountered any misconceptions or stereotypes about raising a large family, and how have you addressed them?
I think there's like a stigma amongst the women. When I was pregnant, and you might get this too, the women are always like, "Woo, oh, you're so strong. Couldn't be me. Oh, how you do it?" Like, but the men are always like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's great." Like, you get like a totally different reaction and reception. So it's really kind of looked down upon. I think that's like one of the things that's frustrating. I kind of forget the answer, but I know where I'm going with this. Like, there's been times that we've been, excluded from activities because we have a large family. Maybe you don't get, I mean, even when I had 2 children, it was difficult to, like, if you go out of town to visit somebody, to have somebody welcome you into their home. So when you have even more, like, you just don't have the same type of freedom, and you don't have the same type of welcoming, and you don't have the same type of understanding. Also, because a lot of times, people, especially women, will be like, well, it's on
Hmm.
you chose that. Do you know what I mean? So um did I
Yes.
answer the question?
Now you didn't answer.
Okay.
How do you deal with
Because I'm
it?
like, I totally forgot what it was. If it's got soaked, you can have one.
How do you deal with those stigmas?
How do I deal with them? So it depends on who it is. Honestly, like if it's somebody that is not in my life, honestly, the people that are the closest to me, they don't have that. You know what I mean? And for the other people, like I don't really necessarily need them they're not in my inner circle for a reason. And the people that are in my inner circle are more than likely either have their own kind of large family, or they're very supportive of it. Um, I would say when I was younger, I probably just distanced myself. If I was going to get constant negativity, especially like as I was having more and more babies, and every time you got pregnant, there was that reaction. I, I just backed off because they're the people that are not in the truth. They're not somebody that I had to or had to have contact with. They weren't
Right.
people in light. You know what I mean? There is death. So I just did away with the death
Right.
that
Don't speak
came
that
to
death
me.
over my
You
life.
know,
That's for yourself.
right? Like I don't.
Where my
So there's been a lot of for those people that just have negative things to say. I'm trying to live
right. It's a
positively.
lot to what you said as far as like the contrast between men and women and their reactions. We get the most of the reactions from our own people. But when we're out and about and things like
Hmm.
that from like other nations and stuff like that, they'll be like infatuated with the fact that we have a large family. Oh, your family is so beautiful. How do you have them so your children are so well behaved? Oh, just they will bless us. But when coming from our own people, it'll be like, what stop that, right? You know how to stop that, right? You must not have a TV.
Yeah,
Oh, you got your hands full, don't you? Like, um,
I've heard of all. I've heard of
you
all.
got a little football
Yeah.
team over there, don't you? No, they don't. They actually don't even really know what football
Hmm.
is. No. Like,
You know what I used to get a lot? Like, okay, so this was kind of, I used to get the, oh, are you trying to
I
get your
get
own
that too.
TV show? And I'm like, no. And yeah, and then there was this one lady who's my nurse. I was in labor. I was in labor and went to the hospital. You know, it was early stages of labor, and she's talking to me about that kind of stuff. And I was looking at her like, I'm not in the mood to have this conversation. And towards the end of my time with her, she is like, "You have some of the greatest looks. Your face is so expressive." And I'm like, "Yeah, because if I actually had the energy to express myself, I don't think you'd like it." Because I was just looking at her like, she's crazy. Like, why are you asking me this? I'm in labor. Like, this is
People don't know
ridiculous.
what to say out of their mouths. They don't know. And I get
No,
the
they
whole,
don't.
you're a better woman than I am, or you're stronger than I am, or I couldn't do it. And
Yep.
you stay home with all of them? You
Hmm.
homeschool them? Oh no, I don't have the patience for that. Or I didn't, who asked you? Who asked you? Like, really, who asked you what patience you had? That you take that up with you and Yah because you gotta deal with that. You're gonna have to answer for the
Yeah.
patience you don't have. Like that's not my job for you.
Yeah, and people don't understand. And honestly, that concept, because hey, I never thought I had the patience for it, but the Most High gave me that. He gave me what I needed. So it's like, well, you must have some, faith issues there if you
Hmm.
can't think you can't do it.
Yeah, you never know what
So
you never know what you can do if you just do it. Like a lot of people don't know, you don't know the strength you have until you come out of your comfort zone or come out of what you think or know what you think to be true. If you put, give yourself, stop limiting yourself to what you think you can do. A lot of people don't take the leaps that they need to take in life because they don't think that they can do it. But the scriptures I read
very
say that I
true.
can do all things through Yahushua who strengthens me. So I believe I can do anything. That's my
There it
problem. My
is.
problem is I believe I can do anything through Yahushua. So
I'm trying.
yeah. Okay. So what are some valuable lessons that you've learned about parenting and following Yah through raising a family?
Some valuable things that I've learned about parenting. Well, I mean, I guess the faith is a lot of the things. Faith in knowing that Yahweh is going to provide for us, even when there's times where you're like, I don't know how we're going to do this, and to show us what the things that we need to be doing in order for the children to be just overall, like you said, well mannered, having the things they need just materially, but spiritually, and um, being, I don't even know how to explain it, being just closer, and I guess showing them the how to have the relationship, and doing the prayers together, and just everything. Just we do a lot of study. We try to expose them to as much as possible, scripturally, spiritually, so they can be a well-rounded person, individual.
And my last question, I have one more question. Um, what advice would you give to other
Okay.
parents raising a large family based on your experiences?
Well, trying to make okay. So there's, I guess, the things are to try to make time for everyone. Um, because it's a lot of times you get a lot of the little ones always want to be up under you, but I always try to make sure I'm paying attention to the older ones also, because they do need us still. um, So, and then even though I'm crazy busy, to listen, to try to listen. And sometimes I have to go back of like, okay, can you wait a couple minutes and can we come back to that? And then, yeah, and then to make sure that I do, so that if there's something that they need to talk about, that I'm available. Um, so I encourage that, is just to, make sure everybody, make sure you're keeping an eye over them, because I was telling some other sisters, like, we're supposed to know the state of our flock, right? So every time one of them comes by me, a lot of times I'm giving them a hug, but I'm also in the midst of that, I'm like kind of looking at them to make sure they're okay. um uh, when these illnesses are going around, how do you feel? Oh, you look like you're cold, go put something on. Or you feel a little warm, maybe you should go lay down. But there's so many people, but I'm always just kind of making sure that I'm trying to keep tabs on what they're doing, because the reality is that if I'm in another part of the house, I don't know what's going on. So I do want to try to make sure that I'm checking in, popping in, and looking out for their well-being and stuff at the same time, to make the most out of every time that I'm getting with them, and trying to teach them the things that they need to know in life. So everybody needs to learn how to clean. Everybody needs to know how to cook. Everybody needs to be contributing. It's not just going to be all on me to do everything, because all of you, all of you are enjoying, and this is a lot of the stuff that we're giving you
Right?
are privileges. They're privileges. They're not rights. So you need to pitch in. You need to pitch in the same way you want to have dinner every night. Well, you need to help with all that. So those are the things that I say. I think, and this is another thing, and I'm working on this myself, I think as a mother of a lot of children, we do need to take care of ourselves too. So that's something I'm still learning how to do. But we need to be able to, I'm a firm believer that we need to be able to take care of ourselves too, and not forget that we are women, and there's things that we need too, not the children. Okay.
Holy crap. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. I, I have one kid that's a rogue. She's a rogue. You have to keep you have to keep your eyes on her constantly, because she's constantly getting into things things. So yeah. My one thing my because I was adopted by a family that had 17 children when I was like 14, 15 years old. They had 17 children. And when I got married and I started having children, we always wanted a big family, right? We said we are going to have 12 kids. We're going to have enough to fill up a shuttle. Once the family started growing, she would tell me, like, don't, as her kids were getting older, her younger kids were getting older, because my I think the youngest now is 20. I think Michaela's 20 years old now, 19 or 20 years old. But as they were all getting older and moving along, moving out the house, she would tell me, I would call her, or we'd be talking on the phone, and I'll be going off about how the kids were messing up the house. So I'm cleaning up. Every time she called me, I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing this and doing that. And she would say to me, which I don't know, you partially take this advice. Don't take all of it. But you only get this time for a little bit of time. Enjoy the moments that they're small, because they're going to be grown and out of the way, and all of you're going to look back and none of that stuff's going to matter. But it does matter in the long run, because you have to teach them. You have to teach them to contribute. You have to teach them to be a part of the family and to do chores and stuff like that, because it is a privilege for you to get to do these things. It is a privilege for you to be able to um enjoy a good meal, or because I can feed you matzo ball soup every day. Every day you can just eat. I fed you. Get some matzo ball soup, but if you get to eat chicken and rice and vegetables and all that kind of good stuff, that's a privilege to you. So you should contribute to what's going on here. So it is, but you don't want to be all manic and crazy all the time. Clean this up. Oh my gosh, this house is out of, because we live in it. And we live in it 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're not like other families who get up in the morning and go to school and go to work, and we're there all the time. 24 hours, 7 days a week. So it's going to look lived in. It should look lived in, but it shouldn't be in a way where you're going crazy all the time trying to clean the place up. And I've been there, and I don't want to go back.
I feel you. Yeah, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. We have a very big house, and when we moved in, and mind you, we only have a very big house because we are living out of the country, and your dollar goes a lot further. But that was one of the concerns. I'm like, I don't want to have to clean all this because it is just too much. Um, and then when you have a small place and you're like, oh, we don't have enough space because there's just too many people. So it's just really hard to find a happy medium. And when you have a small place, any little thing you move, oh, now everything's messy because there's no space for anything. It's hard to organize. And I feel like I'm in this constant struggle of, um, because we're living and we're doing the homeschooling, that you're just constantly trying to keep something clean. There's a bunch of little ones that are always doing something, and it doesn't take much. And so there's always dishes and there's always
Always.
something to clean. And it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's like they're walking trash droppers. It's like you just walked out your room. Where did all this
Oh, that
debris
irks me.
come from?
Like it just who was that little kid on Charlie Brown, and he just had the
Oh
fluff
yeah, I don't
of dust
remember
all
his
around
name, but
him.
I know who you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
Pigpen.
You need some lotion? You're so random. Go. Okay. You haven't had lotion on all day. Go. Bye. Okay. So that's it. This is thank you for
Okay.
joining us and coming and sharing some of your wisdom. I don't know how to end it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you for taking your
Anytime.
time out to talk to me today. I enjoyed it. Keep keep growing. Keep sharing your wisdom with those babies, those older babies. I hope you become a grandma very soon. May
Thank
Yahuah
you.
bless you and keep you, and may He forever shine His light upon you.
Same to you. I appreciate
Shalom.
it. Shalom.
Thank you for tuning in to this unedited and authentic episode of Joyful Matriarchs. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we strive to share the real life happenings of raising a large family. Remember, parenting is a journey filled with ups and downs, and it is through these experiences that we grow and learn together. May you find inspiration, support, and encouragement in your own journey as we continue to explore the joys and challenges of raising a large family. Stay tuned for more episodes where we celebrate the beauty of family life. And as we close this episode, we leave you with an encouraging word about raising a family in Yahuah. In the teachings of Yahuah, we find guidance, strength, and love to navigate the beautiful yet challenging path of parenthood. As you raise your family rooted in faith, remember that you are not alone. Yahuah walks beside you, offering his wisdom and grace every step of the way. Through the blessings and rewards that come from following his teachings, may your family flourish and thrive, becoming a shining example of love, unity, and devotion. Embrace the journey with joy, knowing that Yahuwah's presence surrounds you and your family. Always remember, Yahushua, Yahushua. Always keep him on your mind. Stay with Yah.